Welcome, welcome to Suitcase Divas. This is episode 26. My name is Denise Diabaldi with Redbirds Travel.
And I'm Cheryl Garcia with ABCD Adventures.
Today we are going to be discussing reviews of reviews. So, what does that entail, Cheryl? What are you thinking? Reviews of reviews.
So, a lot of people rely on reviews before they either venture out to purchase a product, or to check out a hotel or a resort. So, we as travel agents also rely heavily on reviews because
Indeed.
we look into them before we book for our clients, and we're seeing what others are saying, other experiences. And there is a funny thing going around within our travel agent group where we send each other funny reviews that we find. So today we
Yeah.
thought we would talk about some of those funny reviews, and then we'd go into how you guys can use reviews to benefit you.
Yeah, sure, sure. So I will say this, like I rely on reviews. I not for me personally as a travel advisor or agent, but me personally as a human. When I review everything, if it's a product I'm going to buy on Amazon, I always read the reviews. Whew, that did not come out the way I'd hoped, but here we are. So yeah, I definitely, and I give reviews. I take the time if I have a product that I like, I will go onto Amazon and give a review. I will go onto Launch and give a review. So that being said, we share a few funny ones, and recently we've come around because you'd be amazed at how bizarre people's like the things that they chose to complain about on vacation that really honestly nobody really has much control over. So I'm going to give you a few examples and you let me know what you guys think. Um, so the first one is they should not allow topless sunbathing on the beach. It was very distracting for my husband who just wanted to relax.
I'm sure it was very distracting for him and it interfered with him relaxing. I'm sure
Yeah,
that's where the problem was.
right. Just, honey, look away.
Yeah.
Um, so then we have uh, on holiday to Goa, I hope I'm saying that right. In India, I was disgusted to find that almost every restaurant served curry. I do not like spicy food. Well, honey, when in Rome, I mean, you're gonna come across some curry in India. So I guess you just like try to find something that was more mild, right?
Well, that's also a reflection of someone who didn't do much research on a place that they were going, or have a travel agent to kind of give them some tidbits. But it is the traveler's responsibility, or travel agent if you're using one, to kind of help you figure it out. But you've got to take some accountability of knowing where you're
Sure.
going.
And I know a lot of people that come to me are like, the reason I'm coming to you is because we don't know what part of Cancun is safe, or we don't know which area is the best place to stay given A or B, So definitely we are trained on this all year round. So travel advisors are way more knowledgeable than if you're just winging it. So that's why I would always advocate for you to go to a travel advisor. So this this one is funny. We booked an excursion to a water park, but no one told us we had to bring our own swimsuits and towels. We assumed it would be included in the price of the ticket.
So, you know what this reminds me of? Why people put, or companies put, this is hot on products, because common sense didn't come into play here. And
Or
this,
maybe, hey, listen, if she's got a pair of bottoms, then she could fit right into the first scenario where she's just topless, and there you have it. One less thing to have to pack.
and I get maybe forgetting towels. I have gone to a water park and be like, man, we left it, intended to pack them, but left them. But I never assumed that they would just give them to me.
Right.
You usually end up having to buy them if you've
Or
forgotten.
rent or whatever. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Um, okay, so how about this one? The beach was too sandy. We had to clean everything off when we returned to our room. The beach was too sandy.
Yeah,
Like,
again, not knowing where you're going, not doing some of your own research and figuring out, but also common sense.
exactly. Common sense is definitely not coming into play here. Okay, moving on. Let me scroll up here. Give me a second. So speaking of sand on the same lines, we found the sand was not like the sand in the brochure. Your brochure shows the sand as white, but this one was really more so of yellow colored. Listen, sand is sand,
But I will
but
also say, this is where you
some is
gotta,
more powdery and soft, you know.
but also Photoshop and photo editing play a big part. Your waters are
Yep,
not always going to be crystal clear. I know I went somewhere one time expecting a certain look, but it was right after a storm. The water's always more murky. You've got a little bit more debris of seaweed or
yep.
whatever. And it wasn't what I had expected. But common sense again told me, okay, there is a storm. Things wash up. It's the ocean is
This,
vast.
yeah, Mother Nature can be a bitch. We know that all too well from our cruise, correct, Joe?
Right.
Um, so this one says it's lazy of the local shopkeepers in Puerto Vallarta to close in the afternoons. I often needed to buy things during siesta. This should be banned. Should be banned. What are you thinking?
This one frustrates me. One, because again, you did not do any research onto where you were going to understand the culture there. And two, you're
Yeah.
saying they should adjust to you, the tourist. Like that's so frustrating to hear. And we do hear these entitled things sometimes where it should
Yeah.
I'm paying them, they should yada yada. No, they're letting you come experience their environment.
And their culture. Right,
Yes.
exactly.
So
Like,
that frustrates me.
yeah, that one was a bit ridiculous. Um, no one told us there would be fish in the water. Our children were scared. I'm just
I
laughing because
I know this is I remember we first started seeing
uh,
some of these and unfortunately we couldn't source where they came from. So it was hard to kind of know where these I just
yeah.
even if you weren't around water ever, you
I
know there
mean,
are animals in
there
water.
there's a chance if you're in the ocean or a lake or a body of water, you're gonna encounter a fish, people. It's just probable. I'm just saying that.
Right.
Um, although the brochure said that there was a fully equipped kitchen, there was no egg slicer in the drawers. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, an egg slicer is quite a particular gadget. Um, now listen, if they didn't have a
The
wine bottle
white.
opener, I can hear you all day and back, lady. That's like standard that needs to be in the drawers. But an egg slicer, I'm gonna give you a little grace there.
And I'll tell you, I have seen on not just like Airbnbs and VRBOs, but also on the like some of the places where we stay where it's got the full kitchen and you're going for the week and you're looking at a resort to stay, whatever, that say fully equipped kitchen. I really think they need to stop saying that because everybody's kitchen standard is different. They need to
Yeah,
say
sure.
basic kitchen. I do not think when they say fully equipped, I kind of understand what they mean, but I have
Well,
come to places where a
there's a
pot
lot
or
of
a
gray
pan,
area.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I do agree that they should change the wording for fully equipped kitchen because that is not a fully equipped kitchen. But
But an egg slicer being missing is not
yes,
really, I'm not gonna knock them down a star for that,
I
if I'm being
know, right?
honest.
Yeah.
Um, so the next one says the roads were uneven and bumpy, so we could not read the local guidebook during the bus ride to the resort. Because of this, we were unaware of many things that would have made our holiday much more fun.
Are you
Honey, if
seeing
you're
a
only
trend here?
if you're waiting that long to
Right.
try to get the land, you're a little bit behind
But there
the
seems
game
to be a trend going on some of these reviews where a little Google would have gone a long way in some of this.
for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, do a little due diligence, right?
Yeah.
Um, okay. I'm trying to get back to I did save a few of these. Okay, here I've got the last few here. Oh my goodness. Okay, I was bitten by a mosquito. The brochure did not mention that there would be mosquitoes. Well, I don't know where they're going. I don't know where they went or what brochure they were looking at, but I will tell you, if you're in the country and it's warm, you're going to have mosquitoes,
Or anywhere
you know?
near a certain type bodies of water, you're going to have mosquitoes. But again, it's
Absolutely.
not the wherever you're going, unless you're going on an outdoor adventure. They tend
I
to
mean,
give you more details of what to expect. But if you're just going down to, like, say, somewhere in Georgia or Florida, and it's not their job to tell you to plan for
I'm
mosquitoes.
telling you, do not go to Maine if you do not like mosquitoes because we're mostly forest area and and pools of water and they are no joke. Like they
Right.
will eat you alive. So that's one of the reasons I had to jump ship. I had to come where it's a little less mosquito-y.
It can get bad here around us, though. Yeah.
You don't know, Cheryl, though. You don't know
Yeah,
what it's
you're right.
like to
I've
be
not
in
been to
Maine in the
Maine,
summer. It's
but
a whole nother, and we've got the freaking moose flies that have mandibles and will take a chunk of skin out of you. Like Maine summer bugs are no joke. Like no joke.
see, and I think that's good information. Like for this review, I think it would have gone way better if it said, "Hey, there are a lot of mosquitoes, so don't forget to bring mosquito repellent or something." B, instead of it being a problem, let's offer solutions and let other people know, "Hey guys, this is what I learned." I think I like reviews
Yeah.
that are more like that than just a complaint.
I feel like all of my main retailers and businesses, they're going to mention like, you need the DEET, like the strong stuff that could
Oh,
kill you in order to kill them.
that is funny. So none of my homemade stuff that I like to use that's less
Your
chemical
freaking
bound.
little, yeah,
You
your
need some
herbal,
chemicals,
your
huh?
essence. Yeah, you need some heavy ass shit to deal with Maine bugs. That is a fact, people. That is a
That's
fact. So
funny.
don't wander up there acting like, some essential oils are going to cut it because it will not. Um, they will laugh at you as they're gnawing chunks out of your skin
They're
and
like, "Oh,
sucking your
this
freaking.
one's flavored."
Yeah, exactly.
We marinated
Ginger,
for
I love it.
them. That's funny.
Um, this, y'all, this one takes the cake for me. My fiance and I requested twin beds when we booked, but instead we were placed in a room with a king-sized bed. We now hold you responsible and want to be reimbursed for the fact that I became pregnant. This would not have happened had you put us in the room that we booked.
I
You
honestly
just
don't
don't
know
think
what to
I get
say
pregnant? I don't
about this
know.
one.
Like, what? Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know because I'm sure there were many, many of us walking the earth today that were conceived in
Yeah.
a twin bed. So
I'm drawing
I
a
don't
blank.
think that,
Yeah, like,
yeah, that's one of those where they're like, oops, this isn't my fault. So who am I going to turn this to? Yeah. I love
yeah,
reviews. Do you have any more or?
that was the last one I have here. So, but I'm
Okay.
just saying that somebody needs to talk to her. Somebody needs to talk to number 19 on the review list because she needs a little lesson in life, apparently.
Or
But
just
yeah, so
some accountability.
right, yeah, exactly. Accountability is key as well. But yeah, so those are just some kind of laughable reviews, but reviews actually do mean something, and when you use them correctly, then they're useful and definitely beneficial to everybody in every walk of life. So going into that, Cheryl, why don't you tell us a little bit more about how reviews typically work?
So this is when we started talking about this episode, I got down a path. I start clicking links, and I
Your
thought,
rabbit
sorry,
holes? Yeah,
right. So there's the reviews that we read, and then there's the reviews that we actually write ourselves as individuals. But what I found out is some reviews are paid for. So either by a
this is
product or a
true.
service. So, hey, come stay 2 nights at this hotel and make sure you have to write a certain amount of review or something like that.
But
Uh,
typically they will say, I was, this is a paid review or I was
well, and
gifted
here's where
this
that
product.
comes into play because that used to not be the way. And when you're writing a review on certain platforms, if you're writing
Yeah.
a review, you don't always have to disclose whether that product was
It's
um
optional, right? Hmm.
yeah. So like Amazon's pretty good about if you read the reviews, most people will say, I received this for my
Yeah,
review. That doesn't
right.
mean the review is not accurate or true. Just keep in mind that they did receive something for the review. Like on social medias, they're supposed to. This came about in the last few years. They have to mark that this review or this product or service was given to me, or I was in exchange for my review or something like that. So even if they weren't given the product, say it was a PR kind of product or
Yeah.
just a freebie, they should still disclose it. So just kind of keep in mind of that. But here's the other thing. Some places can outright purchase a review. There are services out there that they hire people to come in and write reviews. So it's a very important to, and I'll go over this in a few minutes, ways to try to distinguish between real and fake reviews. But here's some more facts that I found. 96% of customers look for negative reviews specifically. And
Hmm.
honestly, that's exactly what I do. When I filter because I filtered, there was a fact about filtering that I don't remember the exact number, but the majority of people do filter reviews. If I'm looking at a product and I see it's got thousands of reviews, I first will filter the negative. I want to see what people are saying to see if it's realistic
Hmm.
before I start reading the real ones. I mean, not the real ones, but the positive ones.
Right. The
Because if it
real
already
ones.
starts out bad, because sometimes a negative review will be
Well,
the item was broken or whatever. So if I'm filtering those out, then the positive reviews have more weight for me.
I try to kind of, for me personally, I try to kind of read it from latest to oldest because I like to see, because more people will take time. If they're pissed off, they're going to take time to write a negative review more often than not. So I try to see the ones that are positive because if they actually took the time because it was such a positive experience or product, I want to see that too. I want to see kind of the blend. So that's kind of the way my mind works. I try to take both with a grain of salt, but most people will write a negative review over a positive one anytime.
Right. Which is why I'll usually filter out because there's whatever I'm looking for, if it's got like the majority or negative reviews, I usually move on. But if it's got either a lower count of negative reviews or it's kind of the middle road, I'll
I hear
start
you.
with the negative to see, okay, what are they? Is it the shipping? Is it what is it? And if it's a hotel, is it because
And if
they didn't
there's
get their
similar
room
negative
early?
reviews, you know, like if
Correct.
there's repeat, like this thing is a piece of shit,
Yes.
or this place doesn't have proper air conditioning,
Yeah. And there
then I'm like, yeah,
Right. And then if I see a review from a year ago that says the air conditioning was crap, and then I see a review from 30 days ago the air conditioning was crap, I know that resort slash
yeah,
hotel has not been keeping up with their property.
I would
So
not send a
absolutely,
client
I look
there.
at things like
Hmm.
that. But I do kind of what you do as well. After I look at the negative reviews, I go and see what was the latest review and then how
Yeah,
far back and see. I mean, you really got to do your due diligence when you're reading those reviews. And here
yeah.
is an interesting fact. 84% of millennials don't trust conventional advertising over reviews. Or that was the over reviews part was my interpretation. The actual fact is 84% of millennials don't trust conventional advertising, meaning that like ads or commercials or anything like that, they're
So
looking
how do they
for
make their informed decisions,
reviews.
Cheryl?
They're using reviews.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
so
saying that they don't use ads, they use reviews. I see what you're saying now.
they're not trusting of ads so
Okay.
much as they are of the reviews. And there was another fact I
Yeah.
should have wrote down, but I didn't. I think it was like, and this is me ballparking, 1 in 2 people will trust the reviews on the same level as they would trust a personal reference from a family or friend. So those reviews have heavy, heavy weight on people's decisions, which is why when we're doing our research, we're digging into those reviews for
I
sure.
just found you. I found
Oh,
us. I see your beautiful
um,
face now, Cheryl. Sorry, I did not mean to get off track, but I was just so delighted when I actually found us on the screen that I've been missing this whole time.
oh, you're good. The other thing was 3.3 stars is the minimum rating customers will accept. So when they're searching, when they're reviewing, they're if location or an activity or a product or whatever has less than 3.3 stars, they're scrolling by it. They're not even giving it a shot.
That's 3.3 out of 5.
Yes.
Okay.
And that weighs heavy in like the hotel industry because I will say hotels tend to, if you're looking for just like a basic hotel and not necessarily a themed or a resort or an all-inclusive, hotels tend to get lower ratings because you're more than likely going to get a negative review because they're taking the time to review. Positive reviews very rarely come through, and I actually have a fact about that coming up on why that's not happening. But so
Mhm.
that kind of like skews the whole thing. I think 3.3 in products and services is maybe the average, but when you're looking at hotels, if you're seeing a 2.5 or something hotel, yeah, I don't think you can always rule it out. I think you
Mm.
have to dig into the reviews.
I don't know. I don't think I would stay less than a 3-star hotel. I don't think I honestly would. Have you ever? Have
Oh,
you?
for sure. I road trip a lot. So
Ooh.
when you're road tripping, you're coming up to hotels that aren't visited a lot. Like they're if you're looking at, like I said, this is different from an all-inclusive or like a Great Wolf or a Disney. Those are going to have way different, I think, levels of reviews. If you're
I hear you.
reviewing hotels along a road trip path, if you're reviewing hotels in a city, you have to look at those
Mm.
reviews. I don't just wave that 2.5 away right away. I will go in, are they complaining because they hear street traffic in the middle of Times Square? Are they complaining because it was too far from the airport and they didn't specify they didn't want it too far from the airport?
So what
I go ahead.
I hear what you're saying, and I know you are more of a fly by your seat type of gal than I am. I am kind of a pansy ass. I'll put it out there. I'm not even afraid to say it. Um, I don't want to stay in a hotel where I'm going to be afraid that there's like looting or gunfight
But
or
but I don't
I've stayed in
equate
some shady ones.
But I
I've
don't
stayed in a
equate a
couple.
2.5 hotel with shady. That's why I think it's so important to read. If you, the further out into a country setting or something like that, your reviews are going to be lower because you're not going to get as much for a hotel or even an
Well,
attraction.
budget has to factor in too. Okay. Like
Correct.
if you're saying, Denise, listen, I am not spending over $150 for this hotel room. Like some people want it for dirt cheap, like under 100 or
Right.
whatever. Because Priceline, is it Priceline or ones that you just put in and be like, I'll pay $85. I don't care where the hell you put me, right? They don't even know when they're going into it
Yeah,
if
I
they're
wouldn't
doing
know because
stuff
I
like
don't
that.
use Priceline. Not intentionally anyway. So, but I
Well,
do
so
think I just want people to know, and this will go into why reviews are so important because when it
yeah.
comes to hotels, I think you have to do a little bit more digging than just reading those star
Hmm.
reviews right off the bat. Location matters, time of the year
Okay.
matters, like all of that goes into play. And like you said, budget matters as well as
Right.
what the person is expecting and wanting from that hotel. One of the most unique hotels I think I found that did I think it might have had close to a 3-star rating, and it was a Best Western, and my client said she really liked it. It was a Best Western drive-in. You could see this was out in the middle of nowhere, out in Colorado, but you could see the drive-in theater like it was part of
Oh,
the hotel. So it was a very unique experience, and I would have hated not to have filtered that through my search because of the
okay.
lower rating. Like
I
you,
see what you're saying. I guess I
yeah.
am a little too candy ass and bougie at this point. I get you. I'm
Well,
gonna
just
try
don't
to be.
equate
I
those
hear
lower
you.
star ratings with a bad negative unsafe vibe. It might just be it's not as bougie as most people want in a hotel.
I got
So
you.
I do some digging when it comes to those stars, which leads us into the next one.
Okay.
78% of travelers never post unsolicited online hotel reviews. Meaning,
Hmm.
if you did not get a direct text, email, or whatever follow up from that
Asking for
hotel,
feedback.
they don't go in and actively review that hotel, which is very sad because those reviews, I think, for hotels are so important. And I'm horrible. I always forget to
It's like out of
go
sight,
in.
out of mind, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like the
Which is
trip's
why
over. I'm moving on, you know?
I like it when they text it to me because
Yeah.
I always have my phone, so I can click that link and then go through. But it's sad. 78% of travelers don't put in a review unless they are asked, which means
Hmm.
also these places that we're staying and visiting, they're not doing their job, or I shouldn't say that. They're not doing a good enough job of getting those reviews,
They're
actively seeking
doing
those reviews.
themselves a disservice
That's
by
the right
not
verbiage.
asking
Yeah.
for that feedback. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I
Yeah.
hear what you're saying.
So that leads us into how to use a review and how to source a good review. So I
All
found
right.
this and I thought this was a very good website as well as good information. And it is actually ftc.gov, the Federal Trade Commission.gov. Has some really good information on reviews, rules and laws and legalities of reviews, what they're doing to make sure our reviews are being used correctly. Because I'm going to tell you this, and I know you're not a big TikTok person, but
I'm
I
trying to be. I just don't have
you are
enough time
doing
in the
so much
day.
better.
I'm,
But
I'm
I
trying.
love TikTok, and one of the things that I see happen a lot is when someone comes on and has a very bad experience or just something, all of the commenters, all of the followers, they will go and review this place and tank these reviews. Someone from a
Mm,
4 star or 5 star could go down to a 1 star within matters of hours. And these are
mm,
people reviewing that have not even been there or some of them been there or experienced anything from that. They're doing it off of something someone else has said. There are goods and bad for this because I don't want to I'm not going to go too deep into that. So I do think there are good reasons to do this, but are some, I think the scale tips more into err on the side of caution. Don't do this if you haven't experienced it. That would be what I would say. Um, so
yeah.
here's what the FTC is actively going through that, and people are now getting sued and fined over giving reviews when they're false. If you're giving a false review statement, they are or if you're buying a positive review, those are all getting
Yeah.
down and you're getting in trouble for those. These people are. So here's what the FTC says when you're considering reviews. They say, and actually it's funny because a lot of these things you have said, and you had no idea what this said because I pulled this up. This was my
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
just winging it here.
So,
I'm
but
just
good
telling you how
job
I feel.
because you're using reviews correctly. So the FTC says to check how recent the reviews are and to watch for a burst of reviews over a short period of time, which I think this is a trend we've seen with social media asking people to go review a place or a service that they've never actually participated in.
Yeah.
Because then at FTCs, these can sometimes be fake reviews. And unfortunately, this is happening. Check if the reviewer has written other reviews on a lot of places, especially on Amazon. TripAdvisor, I think, has this as well. The person writing the review, you can click on their profile and you can see other reviews that they've written. So go and see, are they active reviewers? Is their verbiage the same in all of their reviews? Because that could potentially be a red flag. Like, could this be someone who's
Yeah.
do
I would
that?
think that's
So,
a red flag because everybody's different and every state is different. So if they're using
right.
the same review for multiple different places, then whatevs.
So
Like, don't
review
listen to
your
that guy.
reviewer when you're looking at reviews.
Damn, this is getting deep, Cheryl. This is
I
getting
know this
deep.
was very important. Like I thought this was a really good information our listeners could use towards because everybody uses reviews either to find something, check something out, or to get their experience out.
Yeah.
Then it says if it seems a reviewer has created an account just to write that one review, that review may be fake. So again, it's checking the reviewer. Don't assume that just by looking you can spot the difference between a real and a fake one. Some reviews may look suspicious, but could be real. They say if it seems too positive to be real or it's one of those, it's too good to be true kind of things. Err on, don't
Yeah. I
necessarily,
do find that. I absolutely have found that. If it seems too good to be true, people, it is.
right? But also this is the fake or the negative reviews. You need to check when they're doing a negative review. If you see a negative review of, say, a certain hotel chain, they're like, well, I prefer to stay at X hotel. or this hotel, they're reviewing a hotel and they're say recommending you go to X or and they say this over and over. Some of these could be potentially hired or whatever purchase reviews that they're
Yeah.
slamming their competitor and pushing towards their other. I've
Which is
actually not.
unfortunate. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
unfortunate.
don't see that really usually and I've never gotten that kind of vibe from hotel. I
I
should
see it more
a
in
product.
beauty products.
I was
I see
about
it
to
more in
say.
beauty products. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
And that gets just people's personal opinion, I guess, unless they're getting paid, which yeah, this has gotten a little bit deeper than I thought it would be,
right.
this
I think
topic.
it's a good idea. And that kind of rounds out just a little. I don't want to keep it too long or too deep, but I do want our listeners to know that their reviews are very important. So make sure you fill out your reviews, the good and the bad. I mean, you absolutely should. If you've had a negative experience, I say go ahead and put that out there. But if you had a negative experience and the company, hotel, resort, tour operator, whatever, actually tried to resolve it,
Correct
make
it.
sure you're
Yeah.
adding that in there as well. You can say, hey, they got me the wrong room, but they really worked hard to get me the other one. But this has happened 2 or 3 times, whatever the case may be, put all that in there.
Yeah.
And when you're reading reviews, just make sure you are one taking everything with a grain of salt because you
Yeah.
cannot prove what that is, which is why I think social media is great because you can actually see videos of people showing you evidence of what they're experiencing. So I think if you are out there looking to check out a hotel, a resort, a destination, go search it up on social media. Someone has a video of it out there. One day,
And
hopefully, it will be us.
absolutely. Well, you will see our reviews out there for sure.
Well, I just
And I
mean
would,
everywhere.
oh yes, we will be everywhere, everywhere. Yes. The other thing I would encourage you also to do, and I'm guilty of this as well, is take time. If you've stayed at a fabulous place, if you've had a fabulous product, take time to do a positive review because this world is so full of negative that I would just always encourage you if you find something that's good and positive and the people are good and the product's good, give them a shout out. Like who doesn't want
Right.
that and who doesn't deserve that? You know, we as agents survive on Google reviews and things like that.
Right.
So if you have a positive experience, please take time to put that into words and put it out into the world because we definitely need more positive out in the world.
Absolutely. But that
Yeah, well,
was
this
a
has been a
fun,
very
yeah.
interesting, yeah, topic. We were joking around last week reading some of these about how she accidentally got pregnant in her twin bed. And we were just like, listen, we gotta talk to the people about this. This is silly. Some of them are silly, some of them are funny. We didn't really go into too many positive reviews, but some of them are like they'll take the time to break down what restaurants they like. Here's a little secret if you go to this back alley at Disney. You know what I mean? Like I love
Right.
the positive reviews. So I would just encourage everybody to, you know, if you have a positive experience, put it out into the universe because we want to hear about it.
We challenge you to go out there and write a review. It doesn't matter how long ago it was you stayed at that place or you tried this product or you ate at this restaurant. It still makes a difference if you put that review out there today.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And I think that pretty much wraps up this episode.
Yeah.
So make sure you read reviews, make sure you write reviews, and that's what we have for today. You guys have a wonderful afternoon.
Bye, guys.